The #1 team in the country with a big scare in Athens, a rough week for UCLA, and two Midwest teams on the rise. Clayton Collier here explaining my AP Top 25 ballot for Week 13. And nothing changing at the top four. #1 Auburn with the win over Georgia. Big scare, though, ended up with the 2-point win. Also ran up 100 on Alabama. They get Arkansas on Tuesday. Another dangerous matchup for them. The Razorbacks are red hot right now. Gonzaga beat BYU. They stay at #2. Purdue 2-0 in the Big Ten. They stay at 3. Kentucky also going 2-0 this week. They stay at #4. But Arizona coming in at #5 with a big week in the Pac-12. Wins over UCLA and USC. Two top 25 wins for the Wildcats. Now first place in the Pac-12. Meanwhile, Kansas with wins over Baylor and Iowa State. They play Texas tonight, another big matchup for them. Houston just keeps on winning, now 20-2 after a win over Cincy yesterday. Big game against Memphis coming up on Saturday on ABC Local 24 as well. #8 Duke with the blowout win over UNC in Coach K's final game at Chapel Hill. They come in at #8. As I mentioned, Baylor with the loss. They started off 15-0, now 4-4 in their last 8 games. A lot of those against top 25 teams as well. So I knocked them down to #9 on my ballot. And coming in at #10, how about the Providence Friars? 10-1 in the Big East. They beat St. John's and Georgetown. They now crack my top 10. #11 overall in the AP Top 25. They also beaten Texas Tech, who checks in at #11 for me this week. They won the Chris Beard revenge game last Tuesday, also beat West Virginia. #12, Illinois. Big week for the Fighting Illini. Now first place in the Big Ten after beating Wisconsin. They also topped Indiana at Indiana, 17-point win for them there. #13, Wisconsin, dropping after the loss. As I mentioned, UCLA, tough week, 0-2 in the Pac-12. Arizona, they lose their big win. The luster of that now a series split with Arizona, but also the major loss to Arizona State in triple overtime, a quad 3 loss for the Bruins. Not great for them. They drop to #14 in my ballot. And how about Marquette at #15? They complete the sweep over Villanova this week. First team to do that in 5 years in Big East play. They've also won 8 of their last 9, so Marquette checks in at #15. At 16, we have Villanova, 6 losses on the season, but all of those in the quad 1 variety. Michigan State now coming in down at 17 after a 21-point loss at Rutgers. Not an easy place to play, but nonetheless, you got to get it done against Rutgers. #18, Ohio State. Not much going on for them this week. A couple teams jump over them, so they go down to #18 in my ballot. Murray State now 22-2 on the season, 12 straight wins. Somehow 11 voters still do not have them in their top 25. They have got to get on the Racers bandwagon here. #20, Texas lost to Texas Tech, as I mentioned, but they also won against Iowa State. Other teams fell out of the ballot, so they move up to #20 as a result. Right behind them, #21, Tennessee. They have the win over Texas A&M and the beatdown over South Carolina as well. They move up to 21. St. Mary's checking in at #22 overall. #23, Wyoming. They beat Boise State and Colorado State. San Francisco topped BYU. They're now 19-5 on the season here, so I put them in at #24. #25, the final one, I was struggling with, do I keep USC? Do I still put in Boise State? But after they had the loss there to Wyoming, I decided to leave them out this week. UConn ultimately, not only are they the only team to beat Auburn, but they're 18th in net overall on the season. So I leave them at 25 for now, but the Huskies have a tough week ahead. They're going to face both Marquette and Xavier next week. So the teams that dropped out, USC, as I mentioned, after the loss to Arizona, Iowa State, I should say, after the loss to Kansas and Texas, and Xavier after their loss to the lowly DePaul. Have a comment, let me know on Twitter at Clayton J. Collier. I'll be back next week with more of my Ballot Explainer.